This episode of Speakers of Eidolon is made possible by our generous patrons. Special thanks to our Supreme and Master Speakers, Omeji Cat Comet, Erisu Yamakawa, Alex Franco AV, Winebow Brood, Psyche, Asuta Starbreeze, Cletus Oreo, Nina Grimstarter, Lily Black, Bob CC, Mictor Robintau, Edwin, Anathos Moonscar, Pamela Isley, Elenriel Maximus, Codrith Novelist, Mira Miri, Celestau Notrell, Lazy Boy, A Wild Sarah, Luke Osborne, Pandalu Stormarrow, Tex, Kylin, Arthur Law, Beridan Derard, Cypup, Spencer Christmas, Noy Fafnir, Celine DeLune, Webster Wolf, Severa, Sir Cabarakil, AJ Brainswordson, Kazran, Ventos Tia, Edward Allond, Nat Clay, Gregorium, Cafe, Ryark Forbear, and Pizza Pockets. Support the show and become a patron today at patreon.com/speakersxiv. Thank you.
This is Speakers of Eidolon.
Good evening, Eorzeans. Welcome to Speakers of Eidolon, episode 355. I'm Lakeel Bravestone, and I'm joined today by Georgi Wiston, Mail of Anadar, and Rolodes.
Hello.
Hello. It is June 17th, 2023. It's very hot in Europe. We've entered that period of time where Europe burns, and
It's what you guys deserve.
yeah,
Agreed.
we had 31 degrees today, which
Wow.
is, for being up here,
Oh, yeah.
quite hot. That's Celsius, by the way. If that had
Yeah.
been in Fahrenheit, that would not have been very impressive for heat.
That's like, what's that in Fahrenheit? That's like,
Let's just do the quick
okay,
calculation.
that's
Divide by 32.7
87.
minus
Yeah.
12.
Okay, yeah. 87 degrees Fahrenheit here. Yes. Have you seen, by the way, there's a lot of videos online right now about military guards fainting because of
Fainting.
the heat.
Yes.
Yeah. The Queen. Sorry, the King's Guard.
King's
yeah.
Guard, the French Republican Guards, or whatever they're called, fainting. Because European, believe it or not, old European uniforms were not made for this heat. So
No,
they're very
surprisingly
hot.
Did you see that? See that tweet? That's like, you have to honor the great leader by standing outside in the heat. And if you don't stand outside in the heat and you faint, they drag you into a ditch and you die there.
Wow, that sounds nice.
That's
Yeah,
just Europe, man.
it is. I mean, I
it
think
was
that's.
staunchly traditional. So.
I find that shocking to see, like, people by being like, why are they fainting? Like, why are they standing in a row? That's military. Like, military people do that all the time. What? Where have you
Did
been?
you see the King's Guard who fell over, who fainted but kept playing his trumpet?
I saw that.
Yeah.
Or-
Yeah.
That's
And then
how dedicated he is.
you see the people with the stretcher coming in from the back.
Yeah.
I think we should, need Europe to adopt uniforms like what was it?
No,
The
please
Catalan-
don't bring them
the
up
Catalan-
again.
No, not
Or
like the
Spanish Legion,
Catalan.
whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Get some real
No.
slutty
Well,
short shorts for
it-
the military.
It is proving that it might be time to reduce the amount of, like, wool that we use
Yeah.
in uniforms in Europe
Yeah.
now.
Or
Oh.
you could have summer uniforms like most
We
like
do, though.
many other
This
nations.
is how
We
it starts,
do,
Luke.
but
Oh, you get
summer-
rid of the wool today.
No,
What are you
no,
getting
no.
rid of next year?
No, this is right. No, there are different uniforms.
funny hats.
The red ones that you see now are the summer uniforms, because during the winter they wear gray, like thicker coats. They just were made for a different time when summer in
Man.
Europe was horrible and sad and rainy and 20
Lovely.
plus
You mean lovely.
max. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, today's main topics are the Korean. There's been a Korean Q&A. So we'll be going through that. There's some interesting questions there. I'm sorry if you're watching live.
actually
It seems like they decide to do whatever work they're doing on my street while we're doing the show.
so there's going to be blips.
It's off-peak.
But
Yeah,
don't worry,
it's
we will continue as
happening.
if nothing has happened because this is also a VOD. So
Yeah.
that's why we're not going to address it, chat. Yes, go on.
Apparently, that Korean Q&A happened the week after patch 6.4. So if you're wondering why we haven't covered it until now, that's why.
Yes. We will also be reading MogMail. Going to get through quite a lot of MogMail today. So send in more MogMail, speakersofvideo.com/MogMail. So we have more for later. All right, stay tuned if you're watching live. For the post show, we'll be answering questions from the syndicate. And as always, speakersofvideo.com/mods2023 to apply for mod on speakers. All right, let's jump into recent events. Hold on, let me make sure that we can actually hear it because I didn't check that. Okay, here we go. Recent events. All right, we start. This is recent events. We'll start with the Crystalline Conflict Regional Championship 2023 North America quarterfinals.
Yes!
Wow.
God, I've been waiting for this for like ages.
Yeah.
Have you seen how? Oh my God, it's all to play for. I don't know who you're rooting for, but I'm so excited.
I am not. There
I'm
were
rooting for Eat Bug.
Eat Bug is the one I was thinking about. Eat
yeah.
Bug is a good name.
Yeah.
I'll keep an eye on them.
Speakers of Highland officially supports Eat Bug.
That well, yeah, Eat Bug. Yeah, that is. We are the official sponsor of Eat Bug for the Crystalline Conflict Regional Championship 2023. Okay, yeah, that's fierce battles have been fought, but the dust have settled, and our victorious combatants from the preliminaries are moving on to the next stage of the championship. It is with great excitement that we announce the upcoming quarterfinals live stream on the official Final Fantasy XIV Twitch channel, where the remaining teams will return to the fray to fight to move on to the semifinals at the North American Fan Festival 2023 in Las Vegas. Right, so day one will take place on June 17th, 4 p.m. PDT, 7 p.m. EDT, that is 11 p.m. GMT, or midnight British Standard Time, or summertime. Is it standard or summer? Never know.
Summer.
And 1 a.m. Central European Time. Day two, obviously, the following day, June 18th, same time. So I'm not going to go through all that again. All right.
Do you like how we didn't have the American times for the American event?
Well, it's because I used the European Lodestone.
No, I know, but I still think that was funny.
Yeah. Okay.
Have you been? I don't know if you've been on the tournament website. It's very nice. It's a
nice website, and you can read about the teams and.
Yeah, it has all their Lodestone links.
They have a little team picture.
And don't you worry, co-streaming is allowed.
It is for those that wanna
exciting.
shoutcast that. Do people say that anymore? Shoutcasting.
Shoutcasting.
That's not a thing anymore. It's just commentating now.
Yeah, we're gonna commentate all over this shit, guys. Tune in.
Why was it called shoutcasting originally? Was it because it was like a lesser, like they didn't want to mix like the art of commentary, like with like gamers shout.
Do you remember like early like shout like for like StarCraft or for like Dota?
Mm-hmm.
Like there'd be people screaming like, I don't know, one dude would do black hole and the commentary would be like, oh, black hole, they'd be screaming.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, those were the days.
Early day 9 and stuff.
Yeah. Okay, well anyways, that's happening.
That.
Yep.
And the finals, July 29th
Mm-hmm.
in Las Vegas. Oh boy, come on, Eat Bug.
All right, moving on. New optional items on the 14 online store. I just realized I don't have the price here, but this is the dire. What is it called?
It's the Shadow Wolf.
Shadow Wolf. Sorry.
Yeah.
13.
That's her. You can ride her.
80. You can ride her for £13.80.
£13.80. That is very. Do I want to say reasonable or expensive? I mean, it's very expensive, but
Yeah, I
For
mean,
what
it's-
it is, you can either buy this or a Mary Poppins umbrella. So
That's true. Over the umbrella, I mean, this is definitely well, depends on what you're after. I don't really like big beast mounts like this. Like, I've never
it's
been.
not that bad. It's a little bit smaller than you expect, and it has a good
Mm.
visual effect.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this one got a pretty negative reaction considering.
Well,
we're getting
yeah,
roommates
because
soon.
Yeah.
well, yeah, because the data miners were thinking that this would be tied to the achievement for completing all of Eden and all of Omega
Yeah.
with blues.
And they were
Yeah.
so sure too, which is
Yeah,
why
it made
this
it
was
funnier.
this was good in a way. I mean, it's sad that it's on the Mog Station. I will never applaud anything ending up on the Mog Station, but
But hey, it's a state of 14.
yeah.
It really is.
I mean, you will never applaud anything ending up on the Mog Station, but are there not things that you prefer to be on the Mog Station rather than outright in the game canonically?
I
Well,
would rather anything that
I would
isn't
just not
lore
want it
appropriate
at
to
all,
not be
but
in the
yeah.
game. Yeah.
I mean, if you put it that way, yes, of course. If they announced a big breast nurse
Oh,
mount
hang on.
Whoa.
Hang on.
where you sit between
You
the
can't-
breasts
the
of a
Keel,
giant nurse, then
you know-
yeah, I would want that on the
you
Mog
can't-
Station.
You
Well, I'm
can't
paying
offer
for it.
these things to these people.
Are you telling me I can get the Milky Mommy nurse
Oh,
mount?
you are the kind of
Come
people that
on.
ruin video games. Okay. Well, anyways, that's on there. The Shadow Wolf. I'm not gonna say this is a bad mount. This is a
It's a
cool
nice
mount.
mount.
And the price
Yeah.
It is a
is
cool mount.
okay.
Just remember, that's a lady
I mean,
you're writing.
it's exactly.
True.
I mean, is it? The law might not say that it's exactly her if you read the text description of the mount.
but we all know.
I mean, that's her.
Yeah, it
That's
is
her
her.
persona. You're writing her
It is her
persona.
persona.
And the price point is the same as it is for all account-wide single-person mounts. So,
Yeah.
except for Cloud's bike, which
Yeah.
is more
20,
expensive.
Which
for
is pay to win.
certain reasons.
It's paid
It's
to
paid
win.
to win, yeah.
Yeah.
It is pay to win.
It is canonically paid to win.
Yeah.
I mean, the trouble with the store mounts, I'm sure we go over it a lot, but like, the 2 Magitech mount,
hmm
you know, the carbuncles, they could have been like an Arcanist quest.
Oh, yeah, there are lots
like
of
an
mounts that
Arcanist
should have been in
reward.
the game. I agree.
The Fat Cat, the Picer.
hmm
The Spriggan Stone
The
Carrier
Paisa could have been like a side quest reward for like in
Yeah.
like there's so much that could have just been in the game, but
Mhm.
alas, such is the video game economy nowadays.
It's when they take things that were clearly designed for in-game rewards, but they will say, no, we designed it specifically for Mog Station, but they're just so perfect for being like an Easter reward or a quest reward.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like chat's saying as well, Sleipnir specifically. I mean,
I mean, some of this literally just should have been from the
we
Overthrow.
have both an Odin Fate and an Odin Trial. That mount should have been a drop from at least one of them.
But that was the
A part of-
original.
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, that was the original mount on the Mog. One of the original mounts on the Mog Stand. A
Yeah.
part of me feels like it would have been an in-game reward, but this was back when they thought there would be like there would only be a certain number of mounts in game, and then
Yeah.
like it wouldn't explode and balloon in the amount that we have now.
Yeah.
So like, I think that's just a symptom of what it was. What they didn't. It was a realm reborn curiosity, like many other things from back then.
Yeah.
That was a good time though, when all you had was your chocobo.
You had a
Magitech
chocobo
man
or
if you
a
were far
magic,
enough, and
yeah.
then the Ariman if you were 3 months into your veteran.
or if you
rewards.
Or Behemoth.
or
And the what?
Behemoth as well.
The
was a
Behemoth as well.
Oh yeah,
veteran
yeah,
reward.
yeah.
Uh,
God, those
Now
are the
the-
days.
The Behemoth is an example of a mount that is too big.
but
No. perfect
but
size,
earlier
it's
Realm Reborn, you didn't have any of them. You only had your chocobo essentially, or a Gobu, or the Legacy chocobo.
Hmm.
Those were the 3 mounts in the game for a long time.
I think you could get the Ariman if you paid for 3 months in advance or whatever it was.
You could, yeah.
Because there were people
Yeah.
riding around. The Magitech
Right.
was the prestigious one because that was from doing like Castrum or whatever.
Oh yeah, of
Doing,
course,
like,
and Magitech, of course. Yes. All right, we're gonna move on to the sweepstakes. The June sweepstakes have started. I don't know. anyone heard anything about anyone winning the other sweepstake? Like the fat chocobo, royal chocobo, whatever it's called.
No, what was that? The first one?
The first one was the OC chocolate, whatever it's called.
Yeah, the white.
Okay, it was the
with the
original
crown.
flavor. Isn't it the original flavor chocobo? Is that not what it's called? Okay. No, I haven't heard anyone talking about it.
No.
Strange. There's like no.
It's only 2,800 winners, but you'd think you would, they'd brag about it on some, subreddit.
Yeah, we should
somewhere.
The subreddit is down.
Well,
so
subreddit doesn't exist right now.
When did this all get announced? Like, is it right at the end of the month period that the winners get announced?
I don't know. There's no
I don't
information
know.
about when the winners are picked.
No.
They've just
just
moved on to the next one. This one I will not be joining because I have this one.
One more month, though. One more month, and it's finally the Choco.
That's the.
This is one.
Yeah.
This is one of the two that I have to enter because I don't have it. It's similar to the Choco.
Yeah.
The question here I think it's just the mount, but this promotion also included the Monkey King outfit and weapon glamours, which presumably you won't get.
You get that in the button. Oh, do you not get it? No, you only get the
Union of Seed.
Interesting, because the Lolafel is wearing the gear that used to come with it. Strange.
Is the monkey gear not available on the Mog Station though?
Not. Maybe it is.
Oh, is it?
I'm
Maybe
not
they made it a
maybe.
Mog Station item. I don't know.
I think they might have. I think they might have made it available on the Mog Station when they put the piss cloud on there.
Is this the gear that came with like an EXP bonus?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of them. It was one of the early.
It might not be this one, but it was definitely one of the things that you. No, it was this one. I think it had like an EXP boost.
Oh yeah, it's exclusive Eastern Journey attire. It's on the Mog Station for £11.18.
Yeah. Does it specify that it has EXP bonuses on the gear?
Well, I have to click on one. No.
No. Okay, I might misremembering this.
5 equipped XP bonus plus 30%.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
On level 30.
Mm-hmm.
So it does still have it on.
Yeah. Okay, but that is not what you're getting here. You're only getting the Flying Cumulus seed. That is.
Because there are now alternative methods to obtain with money.
Yes. How much is it on the Mog Station?
£11.16.
Oof. Okay. Yeah.
Not worth it.
Not worth it anymore, I'd say, because the boost is only up to level 30, which.
Yeah. And
I think people.
Nice,
it's glamorous.
Yeah, it's if you want the glare. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. The glare.
There's a lot of good glam in game that's kind of similar. I would get something a bit more unique if you're going to be dropping.
But hey,
one.
if you want to complete the look with the mount when you win it, it's on the Mog Station.
Hey, if you want to cosplay Monkey Magic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe you don't win it and you get upset, so you think, "Oh, well, I'll give Square Enix £11."
Yeah. Right. Okay. Right. So that is it. I'm still.
If you win, please let us know.
Yeah, we need to. Can someone let us know? Have you won? Is this even real, or is this a scam? You're muted, Rollo.
You're
What?
still muted, Rollo.
You remain muted. Okay.
You're still muted.
We can't.
He
hear
can't
you.
speak.
Rollo has lost the ability to
Rollo
speak.
has lost the ability. Oh,
Okay. Well.
Rollo's just going to look pretty for the stream.
Yeah. Rollo is.
You look so handsome today.
Yeah. He's just decoration. It's just decoration.
Yeah,
today.
he's our trophy boy. Right now.
Yeah.
Check Discord settings, just see if something's gone wrong.
So, okay, it says here. Okay, actually, it does say here that winners of this one will be notified by the 12th of July via the in-game Moogle delivery service.
So, wait a long
Okay.
time.
Next month.
right.
There you are. Yeah.
Hello.
Hey. Yeah.
And so much commentary, just unsaid.
Yeah. Oh God, have you been talking? Yeah, because you've been quiet for this whole bit.
I talked a couple times, but I guess
no.
it just be like that sometimes.
I didn't notice.
Mm.
Okay. If the character name and/or homeworld listed in the tweet is incorrect, the prize will not be delivered. So I'm assuming this is the same thing that is happening for the previous one. So check your mail, in-game mail, folks.
You
Okay.
retweet and then you reply.
Yes.
It's all on the Twitter page.
All right. Let's jump into some MogMail then, shall we? This is from, oh goodness, Potter Conejo or Conejo, depending on where you're from.
Conejo.
From
Tell me,
Sargatanas.
are you a Vieira? Please write back if you are.
Yeah, this MogMail is too long. I couldn't fit it on screen. Hello, Speakers Network. As someone who watches your guys' podcast for a few years now, still remember when the Warriors of Darkness from 3.4 was called Dropped Plot Points by the writers, I do like to do a few New Game Plus runs to see the original plot threads. Now that 6.1 is the start of a completely new plot thread, I see some people not happy with the lack of starting a brand new, smaller adventure. I do understand why they feel this way, but as I do like to look at the overall picture of the current story and not just how it feels now, there is a big elephant in the room that is not addressed by the community. Well, as far as I can tell myself, the elephant in the room is Azem's crystal. For all intents and purpose, this is a get out of trouble free card that the Warrior of Light has complete access to. If curious where I'm going with this, how about I use Stormblood as an example? If the Warrior of Light had complete access to the crystal, as he does in Endwalker and post-base game patches, how do you introduce Azem's crystal to Stormblood's overall story without completely ruining the stakes of Stormblood? Azem's crystal, in of itself, is far too useful of a tool to not use it in any new continent we visit in Atheros. What dictatorship threat on the source could exist that Azem's crystal couldn't just brute force a victory? I'm sure no one wants another Ranjit to be what opposes the Warrior of Light in the next expansion, i.e. a stronger than the Warrior of Light opponent to exist, just because it needs to exist to bring stakes to the story. So the question is simple. If the Warrior of Light has a tool that can defeat Ascian and 1,000-year-old Void Scent with ease, what chance does anything on the source have that isn't a Warrior of Light kryptonite? I have an answer for this myself, but I would like to know what you guys think. If curious on what my answer is to this problem with the crystal is by the information we're given now in current patches. We have access to a world where no one dies. If you do die there, you can be brought back in time. We have someone in our party with experience in dying and reviving. We have a side quest with a Void Scent that was split into 9 different souls that wanted to be returned as one. I'm implying the Warrior of Light's soul will be shattered in the coming patches to neuter the strength of Azem's crystal, going from easy to use to only in emergencies. There could now be a cost to using Azem's crystal because of a weaker Warrior of Light, like Y'shtola's eyes. If the Warrior of Light soul is shattered like any other Void Scent, then there is potential to have Golbez absorb half of the Warrior of Light's soul, leaving both at 5 each, maybe with Golbez interfering with Azem's crystal. This is just a tinfoil hat theory, but it's mostly to address the issue of a tool the Warrior of Light has since Shadowbringers that is far too useful and powerful to just ignore for the sake of plot of a new adventure.
Brilliant question.
That's a lot.
It is an interesting question.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that restrains how useful Azem's crystal is I think that it takes a lot of ether for us to use it. I don't think we can use it limitlessly.
I think they've already introduced a limit in that sense.
I mean, there's also the limitation, at least as far as we know and how it's represented in game. You can't summon an infinite amount of people at the same time.
No.
It's so far, I mean, it's 7 other players to fill out the party, but
yeah,
I mean, maybe give it a couple more. But even then, it's like, I mean, even the 8 strongest people out there maybe couldn't take down an entire nation themselves.
Right.
If need be. I mean, yeah, they could beat up the bad guys, but our character can still be susceptible to like fucking army. It has been shown.
Yeah.
I do agree though with the premise of having this like Deus Ex Machina like phaser from Star Trek, where the phaser just does everything. It can do all, it can kill everyone. It does magical it's like the sonic screwdriver or something. It's a tool that does everything, and it kind of takes away from a lot of the problem solving for our character. And how do we figure this situation
Yeah,
out?
because that's an interesting example. Because the sonic screwdriver, the writers, this Doctor Who tool, which just started out as like what it was, a simple screwdriver, and then a sonic screwdriver, and then over time, this screwdriver was able to do anything. Essentially, it could power things, it could kill things, like it could do anything, to the point where the writers were like, we have to write this out of the story for a bit because this is too much. So they essentially they removed it, and then they slowly brought it back, and then just gave it like random limitations that are now canon. It doesn't work on wood. It doesn't, like, there's a lot of like weird things now that they had to like add in so that they couldn't just like god mod, for lack of a better word, the whole story. That I feel like that's already sort of happened in this example. We can't use it willy-nilly. It happens.
No, it has limitations, but it kind of like, if we're in any situation we're about to go into an obvious trial, we just summon our party members and we're there.
Mm-hmm.
And I know most of it's just for the simplicity of getting us into a trial.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I even then with like the, I mean, again, I don't think the power is limitless. You can't write yourself out of a hole with it, or you're gonna free yourself from a situation. With like Endsinger, even like with the 8 strongest warriors, 7 other strong warriors you can summon or whatever. It's like,
yeah,
you still need Xenos to help you,
right?
It's not.
We were at the very edge of the universe, flying through space, and we still managed to summon 8 other or 7 other warriors.
I think the if it turns out that this becomes like a problem for them down the road, just like the sonic screwdriver, they can write it out. Like it can fade, like stop working.
Yeah,
it can
will
break.
Probably break at some point.
I mean, you can easily have like a depower moment, like, I don't know, Samus losing all their power ups or whatever, every game. But like, yeah, I mean, it's happened up before too. Like we've lost the whatever, the crystals shit in Heavensward.
Yeah, Crystal's blessing.
The Crystal's blessing, like that, and that could be an interesting plot point if you wanted to. Like, you could be like, oh, okay, they could do a little fake out, like, oh, okay, cool, you're gonna do this trial. Let's use the Azem crystal to summon it, and they're like, it's not working.
Right.
And then you have to go to solo battle.
Yeah.
Where maybe you lose.
Yeah,
that was one of the best things in Stormblood, and you know, everyone hates him now, but whatever. Fighting Xenos early on was a really good enemy because he annihilated us.
Yeah.
And that felt good because it's like, God, it's actually a really strong enemy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we haven't really had that since.
What I was hoping was going to happen. It's kind of what was promised, to be honest, with the a new adventure thing. They broke up the Scions and we were just going to start over. Kind of not what happened because we're already doing void shit. We're flying around. We fought, we're going to fight Zeromus next. So, it's it escalated very quickly. I do hope maybe the next expansion is like when that really happens. That would be nice.
Yeah.
Where we
I think they need to get out of the habit of writing situations where we almost don't feel any like peril because we know after the next patch cycle we'll have killed this enemy, or after this is the enemy for the next few patches, and then we kill it.
Yeah.
Well, the thing with us is that, like, I mean, even Endwalker addresses this, is that like most things aren't a threat to us anymore.
No.
Like that's why they threaten our friends.
Yeah.
We need another like Heavensward moment where we lose the blessing.
Felt really good.
I think because we've reached a point. We're gods now, essentially.
Yeah.
We're fighting the gods. In fact.
Yeah, we're gods who fight gods.
Where do you go? Like, how would you make anything on this planet a threat anymore? Like, we are.
Well, I mean, it's said too in game. It's like the only reason why we're strong is because we're pushing our limits with Dynamis.
Yeah.
You know, like but that's not like a constant thing we can do.
Right.
It's kind of said to be like when you're really, really under pressure, or like you can go, you can limit break, go beyond your limits with normal ether. But I think you can still have stories with that, with those two things in place, being like, oh well, when it comes to the edge, we can really come out on top
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, not always. And our fancy rock is mostly just to fill out the party for stuff. It's better than them saying, yeah, and then my entourage joined me to fight God.
Yeah.
Because
That's
that
true.
I'm glad because that crystal has solved that awkward point in the story, because in A Realm Reborn and up until we get the crystal, those people, even they tried in A Realm Reborn, like, bring some of your friends. Like, that's essentially what they're saying, to
Well,
storm the castrum. It's like a little weird.
The issue is that, like, prior to us getting the crystal, is that sometimes the game will go out of its way to say that we have brought, like, other adventurers to join us. But then there are other instances, like I think the Chrysalis is an example of this, where I believe canonically we're fighting them alone, but we just have other people there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those ones are the bad ones.
The worst offenders are 24-mans because I feel like they don't say anything
Right.
at all.
No,
As, like,
how do
I
we
think
have that many
Voidmark is like,
friends, but we're not bringing them to fight 8-man things?
Yeah. Well, I have recently been leveling an alt, and I've been doing it just so I can test the new stuff that was introduced. And I've been doing the duty support system. And now that all makes sense when
That
they say
makes
bring
sense,
your
yeah.
friends, because they do join you, and they do feel like, because it's the same people all the time if you're doing one class. And you can see them
like
as they even have dialogue that develops as you get higher up in level. They're like, they start as like really like unsure and like, what the hell are we doing? And then they get more and more confident, and their gear changes, and then you're at the castrum, and it makes more sense now when they say bring your friends, because when they say
a
it now, if you're a new
Pathfinder
player, you
almost.
know who those friends are. Those are the duty support people. So
I'll take the friend rock over the entourage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
The
the last time they
posse
did
that
that
follows
I
us.
agree.
was probably before Nidhogg. That was the last time it felt good, because you were on the platform with all the other players anyway, watching him. So that was like, yeah, it's time to stay going. But then after that, a lot of it's a bit awkward.
Have any of you done the Cape? Have you done Cape Westwind, Georgi, after the rework?
No, I haven't gotten up to that point in my replay.
No.
Oh my god! I mean, I did it, and it is wow. That is so unexpected. They really made him like a real. They even do like multiple fake outs during that fight. It's crazy. He just never gives up. Like, there's a point where he's like downed, and you're like, okay, I'm done. And you try to skip the cutscene because you're like, I've seen the cutscene of him dying before. This cutscene cannot be skipped. And he just fucking powers back on, and he's like super hard. It's really good.
Good. That's how it should have been.
They really made him what he should have been. Yeah, which I like. So, yeah, thumbs up.
Have you done the?
Yeah.
Have you done the post Praetorium La Habrea fight yet?
Yes, I have. That too was also quite interesting. If people haven't done it, you should do it because it's sad that you can't, like, these are instance duties. You can't like do them again.
Well, the issue is except via New Game Plus.
New
The
Game
issue
Plus,
is that like they're towards the end of that chapter of New Game Plus. You essentially
Yeah.
have to do all of A Realm Reborn to get to them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
that's
Yes.
the annoying part.
Yeah, waiting for the graphics to roll is fair as well, but you're probably gonna not see a lot of the Realm Reborn NPCs upgraded. You'll probably see like Raubon and
We'll
stuff. but-
see.
yeah,
We'll see. You can, let's be
and the
hopeful.
Scions, obviously.
But
Anyways,
yeah, I think we need a dressing down or something to give us the threat back into the storyline.
I know that we're hoping for Mericidia, and I think that's probably gonna happen. But that's why I was also hoping that maybe the New World, because that's a world where no one knows us. We have no idea where we're going. Like we have no connection to anything essentially on the New World. With Mericidia, we come with baggage. We have, we have talked to Daddy Midi. We have talked to a lot of his kin, or his brood, I should say. So, I don't know.
I will say, when I said earlier that like nothing's a threat to us, I didn't say that as a negative. I kind of like that. I like that it means that things have to threaten other things other than us.
But then we're always just being like, it's okay sometimes to that trope of where like you're just super badass and just can smash things is great sometimes, but I think if it's every time, because we're playing us,
Yeah.
we know we'll defeat everything, and it's like, well, what's the point in threatening Thancred? You know, we'll save him.
Yeah. Because
The only option
there's
here
no
is to
real
start
threat
killing
to the
people
main.
off.
The main cast
But they
isn't
never
really
do.
threatened anymore.
Drusola's like died 12 times. She's never gonna die. If they kill her,
Well, it's not.
maybe we'll feel some threat.
I don't mind having, you know, I mean, we have to be overpowered because we're the main character essentially, but it's just no monster feels and villain feels like a threat because I know that we're just gonna be, you know, showing up and
yeah, and even
killing
when
them.
they
Well,
do,
They can do
always-
it though. I mean, you remember the what was that quest in Walker? Is it out? No, the one after Out in the Cold, where you're in the Imperial body. Like that feels
but
like a
because
real
that wasn't
threat.
us. That
Yeah.
wasn't us. That was one of the best parts of the expansion in terms of threat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they can definitely get that feeling in people. Like, I mean,
That's true.
obviously we're gonna beat the bad guy.
Yeah.
But, you know, we can
Yeah,
get.
but it has to feel.
It would be
worked
interesting
for.
if we didn't once though. Like you can still complete the duty, but you fail essentially, like in the
Yeah,
story.
that would be good.
I mean, that's what happened in the last
It's
trial.
the emails.
Essentially.
Yeah, essentially.
we beat the fight, but I mean, he still got what he wanted.
It's just that I don't care about that. Like that feels like just a 4. You know, they had to do a Final Fantasy 4 tie-in at the end because we've been doing the 4 story. I feel like we need something that is more impactful than what is potentially happening in the story now. But
I think they should blow up a
I-
continent.
Yeah.
blow up Mirror
I
City
don't know
before we
about
get
that.
to it.
I don't know if we should go this Cataclysm route.
No.
One thing is that like I don't necessarily like think that it's mind went blank.
Oh,
Nice, relatable.
that's old age.
Yeah.
That empty
What
moment.
they should do, you know, the big Titan in Ilsebard
Yeah.
Where is he?
on the map.
Oh yeah. Him.
That guy is like 1,000 foot tall. His armor is comprised of uber ether, uber dynamis, so we can't penetrate it. And he's just stomping through the land on a kamikaze path straight for like Limsa or something.
Uh-huh.
And he's just this immovable force. And every patch, you start seeing him in the distance, getting closer and closer. And then he destroys Limsa Laminsa. But then we
For no
invent
reason.
some sort of invention to break through his arm or something. But like, an enemy we can't touch is
Yeah.
always for a while, always feels good.
That would be to have like
Dalenwood was, yeah.
Yeah. That's like
Something that's
threatening in
just,
the background.
Like, overwhelmingly we're just not, how are we going to defeat this?
All we can do is slow it down for a bit or
Yeah,
maybe
exactly.
yeah.
Essentially, that is the threat of the void right now. It's just that we're going through this really accelerated
Yeah, it's
story
too
of
fast,
being
that's
able
true.
to access the void.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think if this was a bit
Well,
more
it's.
paced, it would be
I like
better.
that you say it's too fast, and yet we're complaining that this story arc is going too slowly.
It's
Well, it depends,
complicated.
because we know this is like an inconsequential side section before you get to the main story.
Well,
Yeah.
Or it feels that way.
the thing is, it's not that I remember what I was going to say earlier. I actually don't think the MSQ right now is inconsequential because it is. The reason it has to be MSQ is that if they don't make it MSQ, there will be no main scenario reason for why we can travel between shards. So that is why this is main scenario.
Yeah, but that's fine.
It's disappointing. It is annoying that it's not great, but I understand why they have made
It's
this
just-
name the MSQ.
It's just that the things that happen in it to get this shard travel feels like nothing. It feels like this
Yeah.
is just fluff. Final Fantasy IV
Zeramus
fluff.
could be like a whole expansion pass. It could be.
They could have done anything to introduce shard travel. They could have done a wee shard travel.
I mean, they could have done anything, but very possibly they want it done as soon as possible
yeah.
for reasons that we don't know yet because we
Watch-
don't know what the next expansion is.
Watch that the next expansion has nothing to do with shard travel.
Okay.
It is.
No, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised. It's like how the Warriors of Darkness didn't pay off for an expansion and a half.
Yeah.
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 But
Which
then
will
it was
make
the best expansion.
which will make this linger for an expansion and a half as just nothing.
Yeah.
Hope.
Well-
Yeah.
Come back in a year and a half, and maybe we'll say, "Wow, that Zeramus stuff was wicked."
Yeah. Wow, that was crazy when they set that up.
Yeah.
Chad is bringing up that other shards aren't accessible at all. I mean, Y'shtola ended this last patch with essentially saying that we were going to utilize the light on the first in some way to combat Zeromus. So I don't think it's going to be remaining as if we can only travel between the 13th and the source.
Here's the question with that, Gorg, my young fellow. The light on the first, will that have to travel via the source to the 13th, or can we arc the gap between them?
I think ideally we wouldn't have to do that. I don't know, though.
I think that's worth pondering, because it seems like we always are going, like everything's happening between the source and the shards. The calamity or the ether comes back to the source. We have never gone to a shard and then gone to another. We always come back. It feels like there aren't pathways between them.
True.
But maybe there
are.
Brother, what is this next expansion going to be?
Yeah, I don't know.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I know. I'm really excited.
I'm still like, what is it? Where are we going?
We're talking about shard travel a lot. I'm just kind of over it. I think we've said this before.
I agree a little bit. I want to do Eorzean stuff. I want to do Aetherius.
Well, I want to do, the planet. There are continents still that we haven't been to. Like, what are we doing here? We can't just keep jumping from one theme park to the next.
Yeah, but not having the pivot until the 0.5 is very fun, because we'll know the expansion before we see the pivot, which is the first time that generally seems to happen.
Yeah.
So that's kind of fun. We have no idea, and that, you know what, I like that, because this game is very predictable, and I want to be surprised.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know if there's anything else to say.
Thanks, Conejo.
Thank you. I'm sure I've mispronounced your name. We have to.
Conejo.
Okay. Yeah, that's it. Thank you. Next, MogMail. This is from. No, this is incorrectly loaded. Hold on. We'll run the intro, so I buy myself some time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Shit.
Okay.
Here we go.
Here we go, everyone.
A little bit hard to read.
Yeah, it's a little hard. I've turned down the brightness. Okay. I wonder if this just has the wrong name on the start. Let's just see if it's as simple as that. It is.
Oh.
Okay.
Well,
okay. Well, you know what? Then I will read it here because it's not showing correctly. This is from Christ Seymour from Seraph.
Is that how it's pronounced?
Christ Seymour. Christ Seymour. Okay, I think I've covered some bases there. It must be surely one of them. From Seraph. Seraph. There you go. Pick your
Seraph H.
Seraph H. Hello again, speakers. Sorry in advance for another long MogMail. Recently, one of your MogMails asked about server culture. And it made me think about another cultural topic that is tangentially related, and something I'd be interested to hear some of your opinions about, especially since you all have played for quite some time, even if it may not be relevant to you individually. I've played a lot of MMOs in my life, many of which no longer exists. RIP to a real one, Star Wars Galaxies.
Oh, that's a great one. That was the original sandbox.
Yeah, but I think the 3 AAA MMOs I've spent the most time actively playing and doing endgame content have been Final Fantasy XIV, Star Wars The Old Republic, and World of Warcraft. Obviously, it's 2023, and the internet zeitgeist changes quickly. But out of all the MMOs I've played, Final Fantasy XIV seems to be the most openly accepting and friendly for queer/LGBTQ plus players, both currently and throughout its history. In fact, during the content lulls, 1500 Tombstone Relic grind, this expansion, I've found myself going back and playing Star Wars The Old Republic and WoW again for a month or two, and still pretty regularly see some fairly ignorant comments in world/general/group chats there that you really just don't see in 14. I don't mean this in a GC... great community, by the way.
I
Either.
had to look that up, so I was like, what?
As our community is not without issue. Every June, as Pride Month kicks into gear on the subreddit, we see lots of folks come out of the shadows to be bigoted. But for the most part, as a queer gamer, 14 was the first game I really felt comfortable being myself and not having to code switch to being straight with other players. It's one of the reasons that made me stay when I started playing 14 more seriously in Heavensward. And anecdotally, many of my LGBTQ plus friends feel that way too, even in spaces that are even more self-selecting like 14-related streamers / Discord servers / etc. It largely seems like this is the case. I would be interested to hear your perspectives on this. Thinking all the way back to 1.0, do you think 14 has always been queer-friendly? Do you think it's mostly due to real-life cultural shifts, successful moderation policies from Square Enix, how connected everyone feels to their character, the game's general demographics, or something else? P.S. You guys do a great job of having your speakers community be extremely queer-friendly, and in a time IRL where many queer folks, especially those within the trans community, are often made to feel unwelcome, it's nice to see places like your community, Discord, and Twitch chat, etc. be places where fellow warriors of light can feel comfortable to be themselves. It may seem small, but for many of us it isn't, so thank you. Thank you, Christ.
Very nice thing to say.
Yeah.
We're glad you feel welcome here and that we make it a nice place for people to be
Yes.
whatever they want.
Yeah.
It's not easy, I would say, in a lot of communities.
And especially, I mean, our genre, the MMO genre, has historically never been accepting. Yeah, it is a place where you've had to deal with a lot of slurs.
Oh my God.
Gamer.
It is very gamer.
There's a lot of gamer language.
Yeah.
The thing with MMOs is because of their longevity, people stick with them for a long time. So, like, people who play WoW and have played since release have a 2004 mindset.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it
a
wasn't
lot of them...
really. I mean, I know it was a different time. We'd like to say that a lot, but we knew back then that it wasn't all right then either.
But
MMOs was definitely the worst place to go. Like, that is the toxicity of MMO communities has been bad.
Well, competitive gaming, especially around that time, was very bad. MMOs was kind of a mixture of competitive but very accessible, especially WoW. So it gave very angry people the accessibility to be competitive, and it didn't breed a good environment.
Remember the More Dots guy?
Yeah,
I'm sure he said some shit.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
I'm positive.
Yeah. I also wanted to mention that we say that is a big problem. Is that we say gamer language, which
heated gaming moment is like a thing.
Yeah,
it is.
Playing games isn't like
it shouldn't be a
niche
thing
anymore. So the gamer as a persona or
pejorative.
Yeah, it's kind of based on a very old mindset of what people who played games used to be like, because it was a much more closed community.
Yeah, but I think one of the reasons why this becomes such a big problem in MMOs is that you're like in a guild, say, and there's like your guild leader is like a bigot, like he's throwing out like horrible shit, and you just want to play the game. So you just go lol, like, and then you're just like you're sort of just feeding this machinery of like awful language, and then eventually you pick that up yourself, and then you got it going.
Influenced by the people you play with on a long-term basis, even if you don't quite realize it.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, it's very good. I left that Modern Warfare 2
oh my God.
clan I was in.
God.
I can imagine.
Shout outs to Zombie Side if you're still out there. The most racist English people in my life.
But that's why 14 is so interesting. Because
why though?
I don't know. 14.
I don't know why 14 is so queer-friendly.
Before I go into my theory, has this always been the case with 14, Nikhil? Like since 1.0, have you felt this way, or was it something that's really started to pick up around A Realm Reborn?
No, I don't think I saw any. 14 in 1.0 was a very different game than it is now. And it was very laid back. It was chill. It wasn't very competitive, right? So, I mean, laid back in a way that it was just taking time to do things, right? It wasn't like you weren't raiding, hardcore raiding. There wasn't any of that, because I feel like that breeds a lot of that, because they scream at you and they get angry and pissy at you. Obviously, there's always going to be bad people, but I don't think I've ever encountered any of them in 1.0. It was all very like helpful and nice.
2.0 was very friendly.
Yeah, I mean the whole game throughout his whole life has been very friendly. And
I don't know why.
can't really put my finger on why, but
No. It, by all accounts.
but I think it might be because a lot of the people that started playing Final Fantasy XIV were not typical MMO players. And so they actually brought normal manners and views that weren't like from 2004, you know, screaming on Ventrilo, you know. I think
I feel
that
like I
might have
have
been...
like a small. I mean, maybe I don't know. But two things. I'll say, it's a little bit more welcoming to women in general. I mean, you know, you've seen like some of the census data, where just for the most part, being a woman is, you know.
Is it not the case that it's the mainstream MMO with the most women players?
Yeah, at least places that do census, or at least one of the big ones, I would say. But yeah, it's a bit more friendlier to that, and anything in between.
But that brings up another thing that's unique with this game. It is very friendly to women. Like in WoW, I mean.
I remember
there are some stories from that game that I remember.
I remember burning Crusade.
They are all a bunch of Ferengis for a while in WoW. I'll say that.
So one theory, I'm going to put on my amateur psychologist hat for a second.
Do it.
I think one reason that the game might feel more open is that you are going to be, as a result of the fact that you can play any class on one character, you're going to be more associated with that one character. So you might put more of your personality or yourself into the game, as well as the fact that it is a bit more story focused. So you feel more involved in the universe, as well as the people around you. I don't know if there's any logic behind that.
I think there's merit in that.
Yeah.
Because if you're not having fun on the thing you're playing as well, you can just switch easily. But I think because you have one main character, you're a little bit more like beholden to like having a reputation on your server or whatever.
Yeah.
You are you. It's like this is you on the server.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry. Another thing I'll say, and what I'm gonna say, it's not pejorative. It's not a bad thing. Don't want anyone to take it that way. But I just think Final Fantasy is gay. Like, you know what I mean?
Happy
like
Pride
as a series, you remember what people said about Final Fantasy growing up, right? They're like, Cloud's gay. He looks effeminate. You know what I mean? I think it's always kind of not. I don't think catered to that kind of stuff, but it's definitely had that following for, I would say, a decent amount of time.
I say I don't think I've ever heard anyone say that, Rollo.
Really?
No. I don't think we grew up in similar circles.
I've definitely heard people say that before.
Yeah, like that was, I mean, I don't know if you remember or ever experienced it, but like talking about JRPGs, I'd be called like fucking gay for that in high school. Like, you play like,
there's a certain
what the fuck? Yeah,
I mean, there's a certain degree of like, because of the like, because they don't have the stereotypical manly like look of like a Western game. There's this certain association that certain people make with the kinds of people that would play JRPGs. Maybe this is not something that happens in Europe. Maybe this is something that is more common in the US and Australia. I don't know if I can necessarily say that, but that is an experience. I can relate to Rollo's experience on this.
Yeah, maybe.
Like I wasn't talking about Gears of War or something. It's like, Fable? Yo, that's gay. Like, you know, like that's
what you mean.
I would hear.
I guess.
I don't think I ever heard it about Final Fantasy, but I think
I just heard that it was like the nerd game was all I remember. Like,
yeah. But you'd hear around that time if you didn't play, if you played something that the person you're talking to didn't like, what you liked was gay. That was like, it doesn't matter what it is.
Right.
That.
Oh yeah, that was just a normal insult to say.
Yes.
Just for anything.
I will say that also, not. this sounds like doesn't apply to us, but well, it does also. But like the community around the creative community around the game as well is also very like not as toxic as other games content creators without pointing fingers. I don't know.
Because it's smaller.
I think it is because we are, well, my only MMO, like I played WoW for a little bit, but I primarily played 11. I come from like a Final Fantasy place, right? That is most of what my like game experience online is, and a lot of the creators in the community as well will have that started early, like in the OGs were also Final Fantasy fans that then became Final Fantasy 14 content creators, and they had this like open, non-toxic like language, and then everyone who joined later just learned that that's the culture here. You've seen that with a lot of the WoW people that came to 14 and came with their like vulgar language, very quickly learned we do not speak like that here, and they adapted.
I mean, I would also something I'd also consider would be that like I would say that a lot of the rhetoric or like impetus of Final Fantasy games is like a little bit progressive in general, in terms of like one of the main thrusts of 7 is it's an environmentalist story. Like I think that people that associate or that like can resonate with these kinds of stories are also more likely to be more open to a variety of identities.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, come on. I mean, Final Fantasy X-2, that's a girls' night out. Like, straight, you know what I mean?
I mean, it's true.
That is true. That is true. Yeah. You literally yeah. Yes. Yeah.
I'll say one thing. I mean, I've talked about this before, and this is everywhere. It's in every kind of community. See, I think 14 is the community in general, and the game itself is fairly progressive, fairly welcoming to gender identity and sexuality and all that. The thing I noticed that still sticks out is just some of the race stuff. I don't think
I thought you were gonna say this
are particularly good, because I still have bad experiences with that stuff in this game, where it's strange, because you'll hear like the kind of welcoming talk for queerness and all that. Great, love that. But then in the same breath, sometimes I hear really weird like colorist stuff or racist God, I remember when I used to run my FC, like seriously, I'd get people joining that were very nice, friendly people, and then they say some off the wall shit. Like I remember one dude, he was like, yeah, I talk that ghetto language. I talk that ghetto street. Found out he was like some dude from like Finland or something. Like, what are you doing here? What?
I think it's fair to say that although this is
where do you find these people?
Generally a very welcoming, open community, there are also, as with every community, bad eggs. Like there was the whole thing about remember there was a lot of stuff about the stalking like drama and
there's bad things. I mean, this community is not perfect.
No community is perfect.
But it is.
Absolutely.
For its genre,
surprisingly
progressive. I think you have to.
I'll say it is better than when I occasionally play Rainbow Six Siege. I don't know how they know what to call me, but boy, laser precision. Every time they know what slur to use.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
Yeah,
they got to be telepathic on there.
Yeah.
But I feel like, again, it's not super bad. It's like lighter stuff, but you'll see people be like, ooh, that chocolate skin character. Like,
I mean,
no.
I guess
I sort of understand what you mean, and I can sort of draw parallels to like aspects of like the LGBTQ, particularly the male gay community, in that like there's a certain degree of like racism in that as well. I feel like there may be some transferability between these two issues, and like while like 14 is like progressive in certain aspects, like it also adopts like other aspects of the communities that it's more welcoming towards.
I mean,
Yeah.
societal issues exist outside the game, and that will translate into the video game, unfortunately. That is just how it is. I mean, if you are a racist and a bigot, that is going to shine through in the game. So that is for the society to change, unfortunately. But we can try. That's what we do here.
Always hope that we strive better.
Yes, be
But
better.
I don't think it's from any of like. I don't think it's mod policy. I think they have a good mod policy. I think they're pretty hard on you don't act like this, but I don't think that deters people in general. I don't think it's to do with cultural shifts because this game came out near enough to old MMOs to potentially have attracted those sort of people.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
Well, I think it is. It started with a good foundation, and that has become the culture of the game, and we're upholding it.
I mean,
everyone set the rules early.
Yeah.
I would also say the world within the game is also very open and like welcoming as well. Like I can't really think of many other examples outside of like cases where like male characters speak derogatorily in a derogative manner about women. I can't think of many other examples of them like targeting people because of like real world race. Obviously there's a degree, there's this weird Lullafell hate in game, but like there's nothing really that's like against race or sexuality or anything like that in universe.
Because I think a lot of, especially medieval like Western fantasy, they get like a little obsessive with like women's roles sometimes in games, where like they'll like I think we can pull any kind of generic Western fantasy RPG or game or whatever or story, and just be like, yeah, this is a cool magical fantasy society. You can do but women are still subservient to men explicitly, even more. Like they are only. There's no such thing as a female ruler or female artisan, and they'll kind of harp on that like a little bit too much, you know. And whereas in like 14 is just a bit more like it doesn't say anything about it, which is enough to be.
It's not weird.
Welcoming.
It's not weird that the pirate. It's not weird that the pirate nation is ruled by a woman. Like that's just
they don't mention it, and that's the best part about it. It's not. It's not unnatural.
No,
and it's not like it's not like a trophy that they parade around. Like, look, our leader is a woman.
All the 3 city-states are actually ruled by women. So it's never viewed as like a weird thing. That's it just happened to be
the male-led city-states were added in expansions.
Yes.
I think it's it's just a well-built world that just is how it is and reflects well on.
And you never question it. So
you don't need to because it's natural.
Why would you?
It's just how the world should be.
Exactly. Let's also not forget Horsefont, which Heavensward, by the way, like it started in A Realm Reborn and continued on in Heavensward. I mean, there's a lot here in the game that you wouldn't see in World of Warcraft, I will say, at least not in the early days.
I think it also not being competitive helps.
Yes,
you're not like fighting over resources or
another argument I think I saw in chat earlier is that because it's a relatively casual friendly MMO, there's no degree of like picking on people for being like poor players for the most part.
You know what? I'm gonna say something, and I think I'm pretty. I just got this one. I think I'm pretty right on this one. I think 14's community is closer to something like Second Life than it is to like WoW. You know what I mean?
Agree with that.
I think it's possible that this might. I mean, it might not be, but I think because our crafting and gathering systems are very detailed, very in depth, and kind of occupy you a lot when you're doing them.
Yeah.
That brings in a very large amount of people who just want to chill.
And
are happy to just craft and play the game that way, and that's a very chill way to
play. I know we have an issue with the neighborhood system of the housing system of 14, but I do think that brings a certain degree of like a community to the world, and also just like how I think there is so maybe I can't speak to this personally because I haven't played really any other MMOs other than 14, but I feel like there is a stronger degree of RP in the 14 community
There's
compared
a
to other MMOs.
massively larger amount of RP in this
Yeah.
community.
Okay.
Yeah.
RP in WoW is restricted to servers. They have RP servers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you're
Well,
not
what-
playing on an RP server and you roleplay, God help you.
we
You'll be
we
bullied out of the
technically
server.
have unofficial RP.
We have
servers.
unofficial ones, but it's welcome everywhere. And when you
Yes.
see it happening,
I mean,
as
we
long as it's
we
not,
did a little
you know,
bit, if we
Hermit's
can call it
Hovel.
Yeah.
I think not labeling the servers is actually a good thing. when it
It's a
comes to
better
that.
thing.
Mm,
Segregating
kinda-
your
Yeah.
role players is bad. It doesn't make
Yeah.
sense.
that. Mhm.
yeah. I mean, as long as you're not being intrusive in the world, like you're not,
Yeah.
as long as you're not ruining the experience for others around you, I think people are generally pretty like tolerant of RPers in the game.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
huge in this community, the lack of having your experience ruined.
Right. Yep.
It's very rare that you are like inconvenienced by other people.
Yes.
Actually, I
we need
realized
to wrap.
I should have
but-
said.
Yes. Go on.
Just last thing. I should have said not Second Life. That shows I'm a boomer. VR chat is the new hotness.
VR chat.
Oh,
That's what. Yes.
That's what I should have said.
Yeah. I feel like
No,
Second Life is a
no.
bit of an insult almost at this point.
No.
But
Lono said Second Life, and I think he needs
people
to have it
walking
on
around like
record.
fucking Goofy with their dick out in Second Life.
It's the same thing in VR chat. though.
Yeah,
Have you
that
seen
is-
what they do
that
up
is
there.
fair, that is fair. Okay. Well, on that note, yes. It's a
Great
very
question.
welcoming game. Happy Pride, everyone.
Yeah. Happy Pride. Be gay. Do crimes.
That's right.
Official roller decree.
That's right.
Mm.
We were supposed to read through a lot of MogMail today, but
Yeah,
we.
but they
This
were
is a
both
very-
good conversation.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was a good conversation. So we got through
I
two.
think there's as long as there's value to kid, it's fun.
That's true.
I actually think the
That
question
true.
is just very relevant to the month.
It is. It
so-
is. It is.
Yeah. Hey.
Okay. Well, thank you. We'll read more MogMail next week. I don't think there's any massive
Yeah.
things happening. I mean,
What is
14 community.
16 will be out.
16 will be out. But
Yeah.
other than that,
Mm.
All of
okay.
us will be sick that day.
Yeah.
But this shit don't stop just because of 16.
No, I did.
Be there myself doing nothing.
I have realized that Star Trek Night is on launch day.
Oh yeah, but launch
We're
day
gonna
is
be-
never
then.
for me.
We're
That's
going
cancelled.
to we're going to be alone on Star Trek Night next week. I'm just saying. I'm predicting that.
We need to make sure no one can talk because if they spoiler,
Yeah. Okay. Let's jump into the main story. So the Korean version of the game, or the Korean community, has had their 42nd live letter on May 27th. And now we're going to read it. We're going to read the Q&A section from the live letter.
Good question.
Yeah.
Why is the Korean version of the game separate from the rest of the world?
It is a good question.
Does anyone know?
All I know is that it's because, I mean, I think the localization started late, so they are just behind because of that. But also, they have a completely different billing system, don't they? Like, you pay
per hour.
per hour.
Can't you do it like? Can't you play 14 internet cafes there, similar to
Yeah.
China?
Yes, I
right?
think they have.
So
a
you can be billed that way with your internet cafe time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I think they have separate laws to
There's
gaming
that. Yeah.
similar to China about like ages
They
and
have
that stuff.
and time.
Yes.
Yeah, ages and time. I
It's
think.
it's so that the restrictions that have to be imposed on the Korean client does not apply to us.
Interesting. That's so interesting considering how often South Korea is upheld as like a bastion of what like capitalism can do to a formerly third world country.
Yeah.
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 I don't think that client's much different in content, though, is it? It's not like grindy.
No,
or
I don't think
anything. It's not
so.
like-
No.
I'd be interested to see how 14 is doing in Korea because it's very different from a generic Korean MMO. You know that is popular there.
Yeah. I think
Are they skipping? Like, I mean, all their playtime is going to be watching cutscenes and.
Surely it has to be popular. Otherwise, it has
guess
to be
it must
popular in
be,
both
yeah.
Korea and China. I don't see why they would put the effort into it otherwise.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I was trying to find out where they are, like what patch they're on. I saw it on the website that it was.
I think they're 6.3. They're going up 6.4 now.
Okay, so that's where
Because they
are.
caught
Are they
up.
close now?
Yeah,
Okay.
they're almost there. Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. Yeah, so they are having, if you were a Korean player that started playing when the game came out, you've essentially, this game has gained patches super fast. Like, they've been catching up real
Oh,
real
wow.
quick.
It must be exciting to play in Korea right now.
And
It's
they're on
not
an accelerated schedule.
But imagine once they catch
I'm
up.
telling you right now.
4 months every 4 months.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Quit
I'll
the
tell you
game.
right now, as a Lost Ark enjoyer at release, having like massive grindy content added every month and having to try and keep up with it to catch up to the Korean client is not fun.
Well,
It's stressful.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
it kind of made the
Well,
game.
14's
90
thankfully
though,
not
with its
that
No, I
patch
know.
cycle.
Kind of.
But
yeah.
if you're getting like a 30-hour story every patch, and you've got
Yeah.
to quickly do the extreme.
And you're
'cause
paying
next
by
month a
the
new one
hour.
comes out.
You're paying by the hour. Yeah, that was stressful. Okay. Yeah, this happened in May 27th. So this is the Q&A section, which is the only relevant part for us, obviously, because we know what's happening in
We've played it.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I'm a player that mains Red Mage. When dual cast buff is active, using this is translated by the way from the subreddit. So shout out to them. They're down by the way, but their Discord is still up. I'm a player that mains Red Mage. When dual cast buff is active, using a combo will cause the buff to disappear. As I've been waiting for this to be fixed from Stormblood to Endwalker, is it not going to be improved? They answer. This is not due to technical difficulties, but something we set when designing dual cast for Red Mage, and therefore its structure is intentional. We are thinking of caster in terms of job balance. If we allow the dual cast buff to be maintainable when using WS and such, it will cause the mobility to shoot up really high. We do understand this can be an inconvenience, but we hope you understand why. You can understand why.
Yeah, Red Mage. You don't get to be as maneuverable as a summoner now.
No.
Know your place.
Get back in your lane.
Yeah.
Um,
Cast Raise.
Yeah. The only tool where Fisher can equip as their secondary tool would be the spearfishing gig that is equipable at level 61. Are there any plans to add an upper tier level of such an item? The answer is we believe that Fisher in 14 is a special class, even when including other creator type classes or crafter type or gathering classes, I guess, as well. It's a class where we want players to research weather and focus on the baits and time instead of that particular tool as much as possible. In other words, it's an extension of that hobby. Due to that, we didn't really change their tools. I do, however, understand your request here, so I'm going to pass this to the development team. He's been passing that to the development team for years, so don't hold your breath.
Yeah.
No,
I mean, I don't understand why they're so afraid to give us another gig. I mean, they understand that glamour is the end game, so why have you only given us one item for this particular fisherman tool?
Yeah, it's very annoying. I
you want a
hate...
Splendorous.
Why not add one for the cap of every expansion? Like,
Yes.
Yeah,
I
there's
agree.
it's a
It
strange
doesn't have to be that
decision.
many. It doesn't have to be that many. Just do it like blue mage weapons.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. It feels like they just. I don't know why they're not doing it. This has like been a huge question mark. It's 61.
It's very 14.
Like, and then no more. Why? Why
I've
have
got
you
a
done
great way
that?
of solving it. Instead of having it as a gear piece that you have to equip to spearfish, just put it as a trait.
If
Yeah,
'cause-
it didn't need
yeah,
to be a tool.
right. Yeah, that too.
No
like,
one would complain if it's a trait.
it's literally a mini game now. You don't need to use the tool. Like, I don't know. It's
I would if I was them, remove it, trait it.
Yeah.
Easy.
If they can't make a new like a new tool, then yeah, remove it. Then just
exactly.
make it not a thing.
No one will be mad.
No.
They're more mad that you keep a level 61 item on their level 90 fisher.
Yes.
Yes.
Like, and it's a gray item too. A gray level 61 item.
Yes.
Unequip it when you're not spearfishing, so you don't balance.
Yeah. Okay. I'm a player who enjoy job quest stories. Uh-oh. In Shadowbringers, role quests have since replaced job quests here. But it's still great to be able to see job quests for a specific job after reaching level 80. However, it's unfortunate that there's no job quests for specific jobs anymore once we reach level 90 from Endwalker onwards. I'd like to know if there are any plans to add job quests for specific jobs.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah. That's the sad thing about reading like the Korean live letters, because they have to go through the same sorrows that we had to go through years ago. Thank you for expressing your favorite for this content. Currently, we are seeing more jobs added in the future, and since there are huge numbers, it's physically difficult to compose job quests for them. And that's my honest answer on the matter.
That's his final answer. Are you joking? Huge numbers, physically difficult to compose job quests for them.
Yeah, it hurts their fingies to type.
One quest you did in an expansion per job.
Yeah.
Is it really that?
Well,
I mean, you even got rid of the crafting ones to put them all amalgamated into the role quest. Now you got everything's amalgamated into role quest. What's next? One quest for like all jobs.
Yeah.
You're going backwards.
Yeah.
I understand it's difficult to come up with content and write stories, but
yeah,
we like to see how our friends are doing from the job quest.
You got one more set of role quests this expansion. You will take it and you will be happy.
Yes, exactly. Okay, next. With the game service running continuously for 10 years and above, I believe there are huge changes I believe there are huge changes to the way the game developers think when working on game systems. When working on high difficulty raid series such as Savage and Ultimate, are there factors where you pay attention to which is different from before? Throughout developing all these content in such a long period, I'd like to know the adaptation to changes towards meta or the other side of values from you.
It's a very Korean question.
Yes.
Very
yeah.
Very much on the values of formula you use to calculate the boss mechanics.
Regarding concept or things to note, we basically did not change the fundamental thoughts we have on these aspects. Surprising, this made people think that it exists, but that what we think is important essentially didn't change. But what we think is important essentially didn't change, and that is to create a content where every player enjoys and feels the sense of achievement from it. The actual answer is very long, therefore please wait for the upload from the official channels. Okay, so there you go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay, so we're done with that. That part is outdated for us anyways. It doesn't really matter. Now we're on to the lore Q&A, which is more relevant for us.
What do the Koreans think about the lore?
Okay, so here's the first question. I'm interested in the concept of age for the ancients. It seems that we see familiar concepts of these races where Emet-Selch, Hades, assumes a young form, while La Habrea appears to look old here. But what is their age if we assume that they are a person of present day, sundered? I would guess that Vena would be quite a person of high age here, but it piqued my interest that she looked so young. I want to know what would the ancients consider as a young child growing to be an adult and then get old. It's actually an interesting question, because we see them in they're all wildly different looking. Like some look very old and others do not.
You get to choose to be old?
Yeah, I think so.
Is that what it is?
If you want to be wise, you can look old.
The ancients have a tremendously long lifespan. This is the answer. The ancients have a tremendously long lifespan than any person of today's standards. The standards of age at the point of you visiting Elpis, Emet-Selch, full-grown adult. Oh, okay, here we go. When visiting Elpis, Emet-Selch, full-grown adult. Hythlodaeus, same age as Emet-Selch, according to himself. Vena, Venus in Japanese, younger than La Habrea, according to herself, and La Habrea, senior citizen. And Elidibus...
Oh my god!
Senior citizen! Oh man!
And Elidibus immediately after he turns adult. So he's a young adult, I guess.
Okay.
So
plenty of consent.
Yeah, La Habrea, our favorite senior citizen of Amaranth.
Good.
Grandpa.
Isn't it? He must have killed Athena a long time ago because she looks quite a bit younger than he does.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
have to write it so awkwardly.
I like that basically they're just saying that, like, yeah, Heidelin's just like, she's just lying about her age.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is good. I like that they're keeping that going with, like, Y'shtola doing that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that as well.
Yeah.
Younger than
I just love that
Lava
Y'shtola claims to be younger than her younger sister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is funny.
It's so fucked up.
It's very real. She's clearly late 30s and
Yeah, she's in denial.
grasping now.
No, she's 23.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shut up, Mila.
Forever 23. Forever 23.
Okay, I'm interested in knowing the reason behind how there isn't a huge gap in strength/power and intelligence between the people in the source that experienced various calamities and merged with other worlds, and people who are in the first that haven't gone through the rejoining. Even though it doesn't appear that the people of the source, despite being in their 1/14 state, being stronger than the people from the first, unlike the huge gap between the ancients and the people of today, sundered. I want to know if, assuming all 14 worlds are combined, will the people become like the ancients?
Good question.
Yeah?
And true.
The answer is, even if all worlds are combined, what changes would only be the density of their soul. Their bodies will not change, since they are different races to begin with. It is likely that the reason started from the revival of these people. Okay, there's some translation notes. Read whatever that is, them, which there is no specifics, so it's 99% likely the ancients, who are inside Zodiark by sacrificing the rejoined worlds after all the worlds are combined. Okay. What?
I'm struggling with that one.
I'm a bit confused about this answer.
I mean,
well, the first part makes sense. The only change would be the density of their souls.
Yeah.
And their
It's
races
likely that the
don't
reason...
make sense anymore.
What?
But they do say, like, in game that, like, at least on the first, that, like, people can't use magic as easily compared to people on the source.
Mm-hmm.
So, like,
I think what it's I think what they're asking is, like, what will happen to the souls of the people that were inside Zodiark? I think that's what they're trying to answer, like, that they will have thicker souls or denser souls when they rejoin the live stream.
I guess so. Okay.
I don't know about that one.
Something.
That's confusing.
Something. It's an interesting question, mysterious
it's a good
answer.
question.
With a mysterious answer.
Yes.
As I try playing through the quests as a summoner, I'm interested in knowing what kind of perception do people have towards summoning primals through the standards in the 7th Astral Era. Though I've been evoking the primal beasts of our own god, but I'm of our own good god. Okay,
I don't know.
But I'm interested in knowing how would the Ixali, kobolds, and Amaljas think of this. I am curious and interested to know how people feel about the end of summoners, only because they were the subject of persecution and oppression during the 3rd Astral Era. Okay, this is actually a deep lore question. I think each individual's thoughts on the matter differs depending on the period. If the Tempered weren't genuinely treatable, they might at the very least hate them. They will come to an understanding of them at the conclusion of Endwalker through certain reasons. Thus, using them for that purpose may have led them to start thinking of them as an honor.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Oh, right. Okay. I see that. I mean, it's still their god, right? So...
Yeah.
The Amaljas still worship Ifrit, even if he's not tempering people anymore. Right?
Yeah.
So to them that would be like an honor. You're using an image of our god, like our yeah. I would see that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Sure.
And
Well,
I guess they seem to.
Yeah.
No, you go first.
I was gonna say, I guess it doesn't really matter out of yours, because what you're gonna do, you're gonna bring out Ifrit in front of, like, someone in Kugana and be like, oh, cool lizard fire thing.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, when the question was specifically pointed out, like, how would the different tribes react to you
Oh,
suddenly
right.
summoning one of their gods.
And I think they seem to understand, or at least the Ixali do, that you can also just summon them without actually summoning the gods themselves. I mean, that's what happens in Zelphatol.
That's true.
Yes, right, that's true.
It'd maybe be nice to have a little bit of nuance rather than every beast tribe having essentially the same religion and feeling about it the same way.
How do like Eorzeans feel about us summoning fucking Phoenix and
Well, no one.
and,
no, Eorzeans don't know who Phoenix is.
No.
How do
Bahamut-
Alphinaud and Alizé
Bahamut.
feel about it?
Bahamut would be traumatizing.
yeah, like
Yes.
you know, you're out
Just
here
turn on the tower and head to Garlemald.
out here hanging out and I don't know, Limsa doing some fates or something, and you
Yeah.
pull fucking
Just here's
Bahamut.
Bahamut.
I was
Like,
harvesting
it's the-
Wellenosian oranges and saw Bahamut in the field.
I'd have a panic attack. Like, yo,
Yeah.
that dude killed my cousin.
My
or something.
entire
Yeah.
family's dead because of him, and you're out
That
here like,
shard is still there.
yeah, you're just doing the Mandragora quest. Okay, all right. Right. Next, I'm a player who plays Sage. Although Sage's weapon and Astrologian's weapons both float on air normally, but once players get knocked out and fall to the ground, Sage's weapons act differently, where their weapon remains floating in the air as opposed to the globe falling to the ground. Is there a reason why?
Korean players are the best. Rather than asking about Enochain and stuff,
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
asking really interesting questions.
The answer is there's a difference in their design structure. The Astrologian's globe, localized as Astrologian's arm, but we'll use the word globe as it's stated in the Japanese wording, is filled with ether as the wielder's ether flows into it. There is no ether repository within it. The Newliths, on the other hand, have crystals built into their interiors that can accumulate ether to some level, allowing them to float on air. Air, structured as a solid three-dimensional magic circle. There you go.
Okay.
That's why they float after you die. Because
Thank you.
So there's no direct ether. There's no ether stored in Astrologian's globe. Okay.
No, it's a focus.
yes.
But
Okay.
Newliths aren't. Which
Yeah,
means
but, well,
you could
it's
steal someone's Newliths, or you could use, it's got ether in them already, so you could like shoot people with
Yeah.
someone else's.
Yeah,
So
but
just-
you'd need to know how to use them, and you also
Yeah.
might need to be attuned to them.
So to clarify again, the globe floats as long as there's ether flowing from the user into the globe. When you die, the ether is cut off and the globe falls.
Yeah.
Okay. When you make a request to your retainer, they will sometimes bring stuff from the first. How do they manage to achieve this? The answer is I
Don't
think
worry
it's,
about it. Shut up.
I think it's thanks to the prank from the pixies. Well, yeah, since pixies do have special abilities where they can interfere through dreams, so there are certainly times where they can enter through pranks and mischiefs. Yeah, so essentially, don't think about it too much, dude. Stop.
Well, that's fair because the weather one
Yeah,
opens up to go to the source, so they can just chuck things through with that whatever magic they use for that.
that's true.
Thought about the fact that like Feoul can seemingly affect multiple shards.
Maybe your
Yeah.
soul should ask her how to shard
Yeah.
travel.
Yeah,
bring
Shit
Feoul
would be
back
the
into
best
the
reason.
story. She's meant to be our lovely branch or whatever.
yeah.
Or we're her lovely branch.
Yes.
Yeah, we're our
No,
we're
she's
her
our
sapling.
library branch.
Yeah, we're a sapling.
That's it. But yeah, she was very barely even used in Shadow Mayors.
Yeah.
I've not seen it.
Well,
Bring her back. She was cool.
yeah. Some people didn't like her. I think that I think
Well,
she
a lot
was-
of people.
Those people
Yeah.
are wrong.
Yeah, I agree.
they are
I
wrong.
think she was.
There are more
you-
appropriate characters to dislike.
You
so it's
can't
fine.
handle the Irish.
N-
That's what it is.
Squatish.
Yeah. Okay. Are there plans?
No, Scalig.
Well, yeah, but I think her accent was more Squatish.
Okay. Are there plans to allow Grahatia from Trust to wield a bow once more? In A Realm Reborn, he was in a position where he first shot a bow as well, and he was boasting about, when it comes to
When it
bows,
comes to bow.
I am quite strong too, with full
When
confidence.
it comes to bow, I am quite strong.
But
too.
unfortunately, I have never actually seen him do so. This is due to him. Oh, sorry. So that's the question. Here's the answer. This is due to him assuming a different battle style, which he has more experience in through inheriting experiences from the first, which is different from when he was active in the Noah. At this time, we do not have plans for this. That makes sense. I mean,
That's fair.
he is not the same man anymore.
No.
I want to know about Asuna's effect from the lore standpoint of Final Fantasy XIV. Can you treat headaches or common cold using Asuna?
Brilliant question.
Yeah,
That's a brilliant question.
that's a fun
love when
question.
people
Pat.
think about
Yuskola,
this
I have
thing.
some crotch rot, please.
Yeah, exactly.
No worries.
Okay, so they just give us like a rundown of the abilities essentially. Cure, increase the natural regeneration ability of life forms and allow them to recover from it. Purify, remove ether influences released from the mind that seeks to harm and corrects the body's ether composition. For sickness like cold or headache, if that can be cured through natural regeneration ability, then it is working as intended. Otherwise, please consult a doctor. Didn't mention Asuna. I'm
Maybe
assuming
Purify was
I think that's what Purify is.
Yeah, I think Purify is the Asuna. Okay.
Also, we do still have doctors in the universe, so it makes sense.
We have
Yes,
the
yeah.
Chirurgeons.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love them. And then even they don't get enough.
I mean, they've
These days.
explained that before. I'm pretty sure, like how you can't use Cure and Asuna on everything. There are certain things.
Yeah.
Can't bring
I
back
think it
the
was
dead,
during
Miguel. You can't bring back the
Stormblood.
dead.
I think when
The Xenos
Yeah.
assaults the
Yeah.
Rauger's Rage.
I think we got a little bit of a mention of it then.
I mean, if you chop off your leg, like,
yeah, that's
you gotta go
lost
to
a leg.
Chirurgean, buddy.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
The white
You
mages
need
can't
to
do shit.
understand, when you die, you're only knocked out. That's what you have to
Yes.
understand. When a player
Yes.
dies, they're knocked out.
That's why we can raise you.
don't
We're not raising
bring
you from the
people back
dead.
From the dead.
No.
Yeah. It's
No.
very important distinction.
But it
Yeah.
is why when you've died twice, you are at the brink of death.
Yes.
Yes, exactly.
You are not in a good state.
No.
Yeah, our involved couldn't be cured either. You're right. It's just
Right.
Oh,
No.
wouldn't it have been a funny cutscene where they're just trying to do a Suna on him for a while?
Yeah. Yeah.
Come on, work.
It looks like sometimes healing magic is like CPR because you in that scene with the Xenos fight. If you're a healer, they even ask you to join in, but they stand there and just hold, and you can see the healing magic. It doesn't cure them; it just
Yeah.
keeps them alive. That's essentially what that is.
It's sort of like kickstarts their own body's regeneration. Like you
Yes.
said. It's not.
Yes.
Okay, I'd like to learn more about the Aura tribe's pupil category. What is their
No.
function? I'm curious why Jandalin can modify the presence or absence of them, like how it's done to hair and makeup.
What a great question. God.
The answer
Funny.
is this is something that they do not possess naturally by birth, but it's a procedure done through magic. Therefore, it can be done through an esthetician. Though this can be different depending on era, region, and so on, but its essence is similar to a facial makeup.
Why does this make you angry, Rollo?
I think that's fucking lame. That's such a boring answer.
I
What?
kind of agree.
It's like, oh yeah, it's just like magic. They aren't like born with it. It's not an inherited
I
trait.
think it should be an inherited trait or like a.
It could just be like a
circumstances of
tribal.
where you grow up.
I mean, if it was an inherited trait, then you wouldn't be able to alter it via
The esthetician.
the esthetician.
Yeah.
I mean,
It would need to be
that's-
via Fantasia.
It's just, I mean, an excuse to so you're able to do it. I
Yeah.
don't think it's a good explanation at all.
Well, that's how.
Why can't they
This
say
is
that
how
it
I
can
feel,
be
Rollo, when
glamoured through
they
magic?
rewrite lore to make it fit their retcons. That's what they've just
No,
done
I
here.
just think it's a boring retcon.
Yeah.
Is all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
You can come up with a better reason if it's just a bad reason.
Now this is the reason.
Why don't they just say John Delane puts contacts on or something? But the original
Well,
colour will
that
always
do you
be
think
there.
they could make contacts in Eorzea with Eorzean?
Sure.
Okay.
I don't know. Can they make condoms in Eorzea? Like, what's the limits here?
I
That's
don't.
true.
I don't know if we necessarily need. I mean, I don't know if there's probably like contraceptive spells.
Cool.
You just use a Suna quickly.
That's an anti-baby pilling on
Okay,
you.
we're done with that. Please tell us the criteria of what it takes to be selected as the emissary Elidibus. The answer is mission to monitor and adjust conflicting opinions amongst the convocation of 14. 14 individuals full of strong personalities. When they are at odds with each other, any adjustments conducted must first be given full respect by the other 13. That respect can vary depending on personality or ability.
That's not really an answer.
No.
But I like that he started with the phrase mission.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm certainly interested to know what happens to Elidibus's soul after he exerts his strength, sending the Warrior of Light to Elpis at the finality of Endwalker. Oh, well, is he going to vanish and this? So again, they're behind. Is he going to vanish and as is, and it's eternally over, or will he go to the ethereal sea? And will we meet him again sometime with him in a different form, but wielding the same ether as is? The answer: there is a clear answer within the scenario team. However, if we are to give an answer here, ... please look forward to it. TM.
I mean, we only found the answer to this like 5 days before this question was asked.
Yeah.
So I can't blame them.
No.
I like that though, because it means that person's going to be really excited when they play the patch.
Yes.
Whereas we probably hadn't even thought about that for ages.
No. If the projection using glamour prisms is a projection of an illusion, I wonder if we actually touch on the original equipment when glamoring them. That's an interesting question. And the answer is, yep, that's right. Please be especially careful when creating sharp weapons.
That's scary.
Oh.
Yeah. You are someone wearing a glamour and you touch their gear, it'll feel different because you're actually touching the real gear that they're wearing.
If I glamour like
Are you naked?
Yeah, I'm gonna glamour gear on top of my emperor's new robe. Like, wow, nice. What the?
So if you
Is that a boob,
please?
Like a pan to look like a knife,
Right.
they would.
Let me grab
the
that pan real quick. Just
I mean,
fucking
you
chops their
can't-
fingers off.
I mean, technically you can, but the game would never let you do that.
No,
No.
but like it'd be weird.
But
because it
in
would
this
have a
universe, if we were
previous
to live in it,
Yeah.
that would
Yeah.
be
I mean,
constant.
I mean,
time.
fear.
Ralg's
Frank
Reach
you all
was-
the time, Nikhil.
Ralg's
Nintendo
Reach
would
was
just be
supposed to
nice.
be glamored as a bunch of like
That's true.
mountains.
Yeah.
Baldur's Reach is a very interesting glamour
Yeah.
topic, and I feel like it wasn't even like. How many prisons did they use?
Many.
Many.
It's like
Man,
one
I-
huge one, a huge glamour prism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I wish I could have sold that.
So island prisms are separate from glamour prisms, so it's very possible that there's like
The Ralger
large
prism.
scale prisms.
Ralgers,
Yeah.
yes,
Large
city
scale prisms that
Big
can be used
prism.
for things like that.
Yeah.
Listen, I think exhibitionists are living so good in Eorzea. They can have whatever they want
That is true.
and stroll
But
right
do
out.
they-
And
But does that work for them though? Because they're not actually.
know.
The whole purpose of exhibitionism is to be seen.
Well,
is it not?
they when they stand in front of someone and the breeze tickles their balls, and they know.
Yeah. And then the person comes like, "Wow, lovely outfit you're wearing."
What a
today."
nice
I'm like,
outfit. I know.
Yeah,
yes, I'm
Yes.
looking lovely.
Okay. I'm just thinking about the horror of life if this was real. If Mela had access to like, let's say we lived in the FC house for real, I would be afraid to touch anything
Oh,
because
yeah.
Mela would have glamored everything from like a knife, the light switch, knife, everything's knife.
No, I'd glamour Kuffer machine to look like a small plant. So you'd have this massive thing, but you wouldn't be able to see it. You keep walking into
Just
it. Or
keep
you walk past the plant.
Oh my god.
That's horrible. Okay. When looking at 99 of the Philosopher's
Philosopher's Stones?
Oh, sorry, the forum. When looking at
Philosopher's Parliament.
99 of the forum members in Old Charlian, there are that's kind of funny. They call it Philosopher's Parliament
Philosopher's
in
Parliament.
Korean. There are some who wear hats, but there are others that don't. May I know what's the difference here? I'd like to know if they were divided by autonomous congressional clothing, or if they differentiated based on their
What the
social or
hell?
voice status, power, and so on. Also, I'm interested to know if all the members in the forum are sages or not. So here's the answer.
A roller question. Autonomous congressional clothing.
Hats are distributed to all attendees in accordance with the dress code, but wearing them is optional. They are not all sages simply because they are council members. Even procurers or merchants can become sages if they earn the trust of Charlian's residents. There you go. I'd like to know about the specifics of a link pearl. The link shell is a specially grown shell, and the link pearl coming from the same shell resonates. This allows them to communicate. with each other. Link Pearl is not almighty, however, and there are cases where communications get truncated due to various factors like environment change or distance. Although the Link Pearl owned by the adventurer, you, or the one in the game, is universal.
That's fine though, because otherwise,
Oh, right.
there are quests though where they hand out link pearls,
In
and I think that's
in
nice.
Yes.
1.0, you would get link pearls from all the quest NPCs, and they would have their own section in a menu that had link pearls, and every time there was a new quest from them, it would light up. And that's
Okay,
when you
Yuki,
called
let
them.
me ask you a question.
Yeah.
You have a small velveteen pouch chocked to the brim with link pearls. Which one's Kryle's? How do you contact Kryle?
Well, they have different colors. I think that's like the
That
you would have to
how
remember
different
the
can
color.
they be though? Is it like salmony pink is Kryle, but slightly more red is something like?
I mean, now you're. Well, I don't know what this. You don't get that many
there's
link
anything
pearls.
No, I also don't know if there's any problem with just like you could paint or draw on it.
Yeah,
to
you can
say,
do whatever you want
I
with
guess
them.
so. But that's going in your ear.
Yeah, it is going in your ear.
Yeah.
It rests in your little crevice
It's
in your
horrible,
ear.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Getting them out must be a pain.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you won't be able to hear out of one ear very well.
No, it
Must be
doesn't.
hard to get out.
It doesn't cover your ear. It just goes like into like it's like a little.
Ugh.
You still
My
have a
character
little bit of
doesn't have
hearing.
ears.
Yeah, we don't.
Yeah, we just touch it to
that-
the horn.
Yeah.
That's what. Remember, that's
Yeah.
those are yours.
Right.
Yeah,
glue
don't
it on
touch
there.
them.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I did kind of like how 1.0 tried to figure out how to implement link pearls into the game to be more faithful to the lore, but it's a nice way of keeping track with side quests though, because 14 had 1.0 had like a way of like some quests will only unlock after you reach a certain level or a certain progression in the MSQ. And so, well, now we have the thing in the top left, or the MSQ thing. But back then, it would just light up to be like, oh, you have a message from
That's
this
nice.
person, and now you can do this quest line. It was a nice idea.
That's a good idea.
Okay, Hilda, one of the NPCs who appear in Heavensward, is a Hure with special traits, since she is born a mix of male Hure and female Elizan. And there are many other NPCs who are born of mixed blood as well. Mixed blood. Can a mixed blood be created between races that are dissimilar in appearance, such as Hrothgar and Rogadin? We are
Don't
putting
like that phrase.
I don't think you should call them that.
no
Don't say mixed blood.
mixed blood. Sounds like fucking Harry Potter shit.
Yeah.
We are
Yeah.
putting the answers to the question of what combination of children can be born on hold for now, because answering the development team's expected combination may limit future updates. For Banri Oda personally, seeing a Rogadin and Hrothgar for the development team, either way, he's looking forward to imagining what kind of form they might assume. Okay, so it is.
It could be possible.
They're trying to figure it out, essentially.
Listen,
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want anyone to ever answer this question because I don't want to think about it. I do not want to think about Lalafell.
No.
I don't want to think about. No. Shut up.
Yeah, there's some
Rollo,
cursed combinations.
there's actually a couple canonical Makoto Lalafell pairs in the game.
I
Yeah.
know.
More
I
than
don't
one.
want to think about it.
Yeah.
I don't want to, listen. Their love is purely spiritual. It's not physical.
Yeah, it's what? Yeah, there's questions about. Yeah, no.
Rollo,
Like, I think it's
There's a-
cute that that Lalafell likes the Warrior of Darkness. What's Art Bear? I don't want to think about it past that.
I don't care about the conception part. I am actually more worried about the birth of it, because if a Rogadin and a Lalafell, and then the Lalafell has to birth this creation.
I said that a few weeks ago, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. I
Maybe-
think.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
It's more based on the mother, so that's fine.
Yeah, that's
It
what
is,
the
it
answer
is
was. and I
normally more
didn't
based on
appreciate
the
that.
mother.
Oh yeah, that's true. So it'll just be a Lalafell
I mean-
with a Rogadin nose.
Oh,
Yeah.
the poor thing.
Again, I don't want to think about it out of my
mean-
mind.
Raban isn't a Rogadin, but there is a Lalafell in Camp Drybone that talks about being taken by Raban now.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
imagine that.
That's true.
No, I don't
Uh,
want to. Shut
well-
up.
How delicate can Rashan's doll bodies be?
What?
Sorry. I'm curious if they eat, breathe, and have a body temperature like other people, or if they're just mimicking the human form. Answer: while Vajan can mimic the act of food consumption, he lacks the ability to taste on a delicate level. Not to mention, he's also not equipped with a digestive system. He also doesn't possess...
what?
What?
No, go on. I'm confused.
He also doesn't possess the function to feel the cold or heat, and while his chest appears to breathe, his eyes blink, and his body feels warm when you place your hand on it. All of these are just masks to make it act like a human being. Yeah, he is a doll. I mean, he is a mammoth, essentially.
Where does the food go?
Straight out.
Well,
He leaves a trail behind him.
maybe he has to like vomit it back up.
You know what they're asking.
I know what they're asking.
Absolutely know. He's got an adult body.
Maybe there's like... Yeah, he does. Maybe there's like a hatch in his back that you just have to remove the food after he's eaten it.
He is a very... So just to answer this person's question, because they're not. Varshan is a very advanced real doll. So that is...
Yes.
He is anatomically correct.
Absolutely.
They've referred to him as a very advanced mammoth. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So... Whew. Okay, well there you go. That is the Q&A from the Korean live letter from May. Yeah, nothing really new, but some interesting questions. They do ask some interesting questions there.
I'm really impressed with a lot of the questions coming out of this.
Yeah.
You know, FanFest is coming up, everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Think about questions of this caliber to ask.
Yes, keep
Yeah,
this in mind.
we gotta think of a good question to ask if they let us.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
Yeah. Okay.
I'd love Georgi to ask a question and then like just be so disappointed with that, where he's like that, and then like start having a
try to like argue
on stage.
Well,
he's like arguing, and they're trying to like drag Georgi away. Like, you've got to go. No, excuse me, I'm talking.
Shut up. All right. That's it for today. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll be back next week, same time, same place. Remember to follow on Twitter at SpeakersOfE, twitch.tv/SpeakersOfHeidland, youtube.com/SpeakersOfE, Discord in chat if you want to join our Discord server. If you're watching on demand, links in the description. Remember to send us MogMail, speakersofE.com/MogMail. And if you're watching live, we'll be going into the post show, so make sure you catch that. See you then. Goodbye.
Bye.